Huh? What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogre Boy and I'm going to be doing my review for the 2010 movie True Grit. So, this movie follows 14-year-old Maddie Ross who, after the murder of her father by Tom Chaney, a hired hand, she, along with U.S. Marshal Rooster Cogburn, set out to capture him and get justice for her father's death. And they're joined by LaBeouf. In this movie they pronounce it LaBeef, but I think it's actually supposed to be LaBeouf, but Jeff Bridges just pronounced his name wrong. This movie is not very great. I've never liked this movie. One of the few people that would actually say this. I know this one seems to be a pretty popular one and everything, but I've never liked this movie. It's the one Coen Brothers movie that I've never really been a big fan of. I thought especially Jeff Bridges was just miscast and absolutely horrible as Rooster Cogburn. I just do not like him in this movie. I'm not a huge Jeff Bridges fan anyway. I like him in The Big Lebowski and a few other things, but I wouldn't say I'm like a big fan of him. In this movie, definitely, I just felt like he was terrible in. Just totally miscast. They could have gone with so many other great actors to play Rooster Cogburn and everything, and I just felt like he was terrible. And then, and as far as the rest of the cast go, they're mostly hit and miss. Haley Steinfeld as Maddie Ross is probably the only highlight of this movie that I can really say. Really the highlight about this movie is that we got Haley Steinfeld out of it, and she's become one of the best actresses of the last 10 years and everything. She's really good in this movie, and her performance is great. You could tell just from this performance alone that this girl was going places, and she still hasn't even made it as big as I feel like she should. She's really popular and stuff nowadays. She's been in a lot of good stuff, but she still doesn't get the credit she deserves. But this movie I will give her credit on. She was absolutely amazing in this movie and everything. I absolutely loved Haley Steinfeld in here. That's the one thing about the movie that I can say that I loved. Matt Damon is LaBeouf, or LaBeef as they call him in the movie. He's miscast too. I don't really like Matt Damon in this movie either. I think he tries and everything. To me, I think he did a better job than Jeff Bridges as Rooster Cogburn, but I'm not really big on him as LaBeouf or LaBeef or whatever you want to call him. I didn't really think he was all that good, and the chemistry between the three main cast members is just not there. They don't have good chemistry. Like I said, Haley Steinfeld is the only one that really goes out of her way to try to do a good job with this performance and everything. I've seen Jeff Bridges play a drunken character like he did as Rooster Cogburn. I've seen him play the same type of character in other movies and everything. Even if they're not westerns and stuff, it wasn't anything new for him. So this performance wasn't that impressive. Like, everybody acted like it was the biggest deal when this movie came out, but luckily he lost that Oscar because he would not have deserved it if he would have won. I don't remember who he lost to, but I remember watching the Oscars and being very glad that he didn't win. And the pacing in this movie is just not very good. It's very slow paced, and I don't mind a slow burn movie very most of the time. I like slow burn movies, but this one I kept feeling bored throughout the whole movie and everything. I've seen this story done much better and everything as well. I'm not that big on this version of True Grit. I don't get it. Like I said, the supporting cast are mostly miscast as well. Barry Pepper is the head villain in this movie is not very good, and I like Barry Pepper usually, I think he's a pretty underrated character actor, but I did not like him as Ned Pepper in this movie. I thought he was just not very good and everything. And Josh Brolin as Tom Chaney was wasted. He's not even in the movie very much and everything. I felt like they just kind of wasted him and everything. He just wasn't very good. Josh Brolin is a really good actor. He's been in a lot of good stuff since this movie, and even before this movie came out, he's been in some good stuff. So he's an actor I've always liked and stuff, but I just don't really care for him in this movie as Tom Chaney. I don't think any of the cast aside from Haley Steinfeld really were that great. You could tell that they tried and everything. I just feel like they didn't work and everything, especially though as Barry Pepper as Ned Pepper. He just was not a very intimidating villain and everything, and the ending feels rushed and everything. Like the last act of this movie feels very, very rushed and everything. The whole movie feels rushed, really, to be honest with you. They get going pretty quickly and everything, and it doesn't work and everything. I just feel like this movie could have been better. It felt rushed, but also really slow at the same time and everything. Like they rushed to get to them going out to find him and everything, and then we get to the second act drags, and then we get to the third act and it feels rushed and everything. I will say that I like that they made Maddie lose her arm at the end of it. That was a realistic thing that I thought was done pretty well, and the cinematography is decent. It's not the best cinematography. I've seen tons of westerns with much better looking cinematography where it has much more beautiful outside shots and everything. This one just doesn't really feel like it's anything new. It just feels meh. I never have been big on this movie. I know a lot of people love the True Grit remake, and I can get it. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad made movie. It's pretty well directed and everything, but it just isn't something I've ever been into. I never really liked this movie, and I just still don't. A part of it is I think I have a bias towards the John Wayne version from 1969 because I used to watch that version with my grandfather all the time as a kid. So that could be part of it. I do have a bias towards that one and everything, but I'm trying not to compare this one to that one. I went in completely trying to go without comparing it. The last time I watched this movie, I watched the original a few hours before I went to see it in the theaters. So I thought that maybe it was just I had a bias towards the original. I wanted to give this another fair shot. I hadn't seen the original in almost as long as time as I have this one. I hadn't seen this one since theaters. I've seen the original maybe one time since then. I just personally prefer that movie. I'll talk about it and see how much I think that one holds up next month sometime. I'm going to be watching a lot of older movies in January, some that I just haven't seen since I was a kid or teenager that I wanted to rewatch and everything, and that the True Grit and its sequel Rooster Cogburn are going to be two of the ones I watch. I'll probably end up reviewing them when I watch them and everything, but this movie I just do not like very well. Like I said, I feel like everybody was miscast except for Haley Steinfeld. I think she's the only one that was really good in her role, and I felt the story has been told better, and the action was kind of lackluster and everything. It just wasn't a very fun movie, so I don't really like this version of True Grit. It's the only movie the Coen brothers did that I don't really like and everything, and that's all I can really say about it. Personally, I honestly would probably give this movie just a 2 out of 10. I'd give the 2 points for Haley Steinfeld, but that's really it. I really don't like this movie very much and everything. It just isn't entertaining to me. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of True Grit from 2010. Do you think it's a good remake? Do you think it's just mediocre like or do you think it's just not very good like me? Like I said, there are worse made movies out there and stuff. I just don't like this one. It's one of those that just, it gets under my skin for some reason. And I think part of it, like I said, is Jeff Bridges. Just, I don't think he was a good pick for Rooster Cogburn, and I didn't like him in this movie. So I thought I'd give it a fair shot. Every now and then I'll watch movies that I watched when I was a teenager or in my early 20s and rewatch them and love them and everything, but this is not one of those movies. I still dislike it. Maybe not quite as bad as I used to, because I was a little harsh on this movie, I'm not gonna lie. I used to be really harsh on it. There are way worse movies out there than this, but it definitely is a movie that I don't like and everything. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review. I'm sorry that it's kind of on the negative side. This is not a movie I've ever really liked and everything. If you love it, that's awesome. To each their own and everything. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.